Hi guys, we're back. It's our last read aloud with 100 Things to Know About Space, which is kind of bittersweet because I think this has been a really interesting book. And I love talking with you about using those strategies for understanding nonfiction, for facts, text about real information. So I'm going to share the last couple of pages with you today. And I hope that you enjoyed reading this because it's been a lot of fun talking about space. I've learned a lot of new stuff. I'm sure you have too. And then hopefully I'll plan something different than nonfiction for next week since it's our last week, which is kind of crazy. It hasn't really set into my brain yet. So let's just hop right in. And before I even get started reading this page, holy moly, look at all of these nonfiction text features. I see captions. I see diagrams. I see these little things where it's kind of blowing something up and making it larger so that I can get the information since I can't really see Saturn from here on my book. And so there's a lot of important information that I'm already kind of scanning with my eyes. It's very busy. So the first thing I'm going to do is just read the information up here and try to digest that a little bit. So here's what it says. It says the moon is made of the earth, which right away I already start having some questions in my mind, like, wait a second, the earth is made of the earth. How is the moon made of the earth? It says scientists think the moon was formed when an object collided with earth and pieces of earth flew off into space. The biggest pieces clumped together and formed the moon. Okay, that's really cool, and I never knew that. All right, now look at this sentence. This sentence is setting up everything that's happening down here. So this sentence is important because this is going to tell me what all of these diagrams are trying to teach me as the reader. It says, here are some of the main materials that make up the moon and other objects in space. Okay, so I hear main, which we know is like the most important. Materials is what something is made of. So these are the most important materials that the moon is made of. So it says the moon, some of the materials it's made of is the earth. Look at comets. Did you know that comets were made of ice, frozen gases, and rock? That's pretty interesting. And you know what I love too, is that it's giving me these little illustrations to see, or to help me understand. So like, look here, a cold white dwarf star is made of diamonds. And it's a picture of a diamond. So it's putting that picture in my brain and helping me understand a little bit more. So an asteroid is made of rock, ice, gold, and platinum. That is really interesting. I had no idea there was gold in an asteroid. Saturn is made of methane, which is a type of gas, sulfur, and ammonia. Okay, that does not sound very pleasant. Mars is made of basalt, silicon, and iron dust. So I am gaining a lot of information, but I'm also realizing that all of these things in space are made of completely different materials. Look at intergalactic space. It's made of a few hydrogen atoms in otherwise empty space, so it's like barely nothing. Now, I don't want to skip these captions, and I probably should have read the caption when I was reading about the dwarf star because that would have made more sense as a reader. So let me go back through this again. A cold white dwarf star is made of diamonds. And it says cold white dwarf stars are made of carbon squeezed and pressed down into a tight structure, which is how a diamond is made. That's pretty cool. The asteroid also has a caption. So it says, the precious metals in asteroids are so expensive on Earth that one 1,500-foot asteroid could be worth $3 trillion. That's even more than billions and a lot more than millions. That's crazy. Because gold and platinum are really expensive here. So that's really interesting. And that makes more sense now why they're showing like a king, like a fancy king with his jewels and stuff, because they're telling you how expensive it would be. Pretty neat. It took me some time to get through this page and to understand this page. I really had to go back and look at those important words that helped me understand why these diagrams were here. And so when you're reading a nonfiction book like that, don't be afraid to go back, reread things, pay attention, talk to yourself or talk out loud with someone else what those words mean. All right, this is interesting. Number 9, the coldest. Now we know when we're comparing words, so that's the most cold with the EST. The coldest spot in the universe is right here on Earth? What in the world? I did not expect that. Especially because on the last page, it said that comets were made of ice and frozen gas. So I did not expect them to say that the coldest spot in the universe is on Earth. It says there are some of the coldest known, or excuse me, these are some of the coldest known temperatures. Okay, so before I hop into this page, it's definitely laid out differently. I see 4 sections, 2, 3, 4. So they're telling my eyes as a reader that I'm going to get 4 different bits of information that are going to kind of help me understand the main idea of this page. And a lot of times when we are looking for the main idea, it's that first topic sentence. So the main idea of this page is the coldest spot in the universe is on Earth. So all of these other details should support that main idea. So it says on the moon, it can get up to negative 413 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's the Hermite crater that can get pretty cold on the moon. That's really cold. I mean, we would never be outside during that. So that's on the moon, that's one. In space, it says the temperature of the rapidly expanding gases of the Boomerang Nebula, which I'm assuming is another galaxy, that's the word I'm looking for. That gets a little colder, right? Because look, 457 is a bigger number than 413. And when we're going negative, the higher the number, the colder it is. So that's getting over negative 457 degrees. That's a cute picture, look at them. All right, now here, moon, pretty cold. In space, colder. On Earth, what did we say that word was? Coldest, most cold. Let's see what it does. Temperature recorded in laboratories where scientists use lasers to strip the heat from tiny clouds of atoms gets below 459 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 459. So that's even bigger than negative 457. Now, this is interesting because it says at the theoretical limits. So here's what it says. It says this is absolute zero, the lowest conceivable temperature. Now look, they put conceivable in italics. They're kind of slanted because that's a pretty fancy word. When something is conceivable, it means it's the most believable. They haven't tested this yet. They haven't gone out that far to know if it gets this cold, but they think, as of right now, that that temperature is the coldest that it could get. So they're saying scientists have come within a few billionths of a degree of absolute zero, but it's impossible to actually reach it. Interesting. Whew, a lot of information, right? So when you're reading those nonfiction books at home, remember those few tips and strategies that I have for you. Pay attention to those bold and italic words. Focus on what your main idea of your page is by rereading that topic sentence and sometimes the ending sentence. Really slow down and digest the diagrams and the way that the page is laid out for you as a reader, and use those picture clues. I hope you enjoyed this. I had so much fun reading about this space book. Guys, there's 100 things. We only got to number 9. So I still have 91 more things to learn about space. So if you like this book, it's from the Usborne books. So you can show this to your parents and you guys can maybe check out where you might be able to get this book. They have a lot of really great books like this. So I hope you enjoyed this and I will talk to you soon. Bye.